Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Parenting in a Foreign Culture. So in my last episode, I was literally just introducing myself to you, what I do, who I am, and just starting this journey and excited about starting this journey. And so today we want to dive deeper. We want to talk about parenting, right, in a foreign culture. What is that even about? So first of all, most of us travel for financial reasons, right, or economic reasons. We migrate to different countries because we're looking for something better. We're looking for better economic life, or we're looking for better, environments for our families to thrive in. And then we end up having children in that culture. So let's break it down. Usually, when we come and our focus is on the money, we tend to make that the priority and not necessarily the family. Now, I do know that you have the best interest of your family at heart, but usually that is why we travel. So I want to empathize that I do understand that times are tough and we want to make ends meet, and we're just making all this money again to take care of our families, right? So we are not even doing that for just ourselves. We're doing that for our children and hopefully our children's children, to change the narrative, to change our financial situation. And so I have a few pointers I want us to talk about as far as being successful as a parent in an environment like this, right? So the first thing we want to understand is that you as a parent need to understand the terrain you live in now, the culture you live in, the norms of the country you live in. So I'm going to use myself as an example a lot because, again, I'm originally from Ghana, but I live here in the United States, right? What does parenting look like in the United States? What are the norms of the United States? What is acceptable? What is not acceptable? And so I have heard over the past several years, especially since I've become a parent, especially within my community of Ghanaians, you would hear statements like, oh, if you raise children in America, they never do well. Oh, these children in America are just spoiled rotten. Oh, these children in America are so disrespectful. I am a teacher as well, and I teach formally in a school, right? And I see the American children who are equally great, respectful children. And then I also see the children who have issues, right? And it all comes to the parenting. So it's not necessarily that an American child, like the way we say in our community, like, oh, these children are spoiled, they get all they want, they have nothing, they have nothing to worry about. It isn't that they are bad. It is the kind of parenting that we are offering or people give to their children is what is resulting in the behaviors and the things that we see. I've also heard people say it within my community that, oh, in America, you can't discipline your child. If you discipline your child, you're going to be in trouble. You'll get arrested by the police. Now, I want to make this clear. Discipline is completely different from punishment, okay? I know I've touched on something, and we'll talk about that in later episodes. What is discipline and what is punishment? And we need to know that there is a difference between discipline and punishment, okay? And so today we want to talk about some things that you can do as a parent to be successful in a culture like this. The first thing I want you to think about, again, you are raising a child who is completely different, or in a way that was completely different from the way you were raised, right? So let me use myself an example again. When I was growing up, my mother allowed us to go outside. We roam around, we play in the neighborhood, and then we come home when we're hungry or tired or when it was getting late. That was the assumption, that we would go out and play and come back. I am raising my children in an environment where when they go into my yard to play, I am in my kitchen looking out the window to make sure they're safe and they're okay. Because then we've listened to things on the news, we've had kidnappings, and we've had things that makes you almost as a parent not be comfortable, right? Now we're also raising children who are not just growing up in a culture that is different, but they're also growing up in a day and age that is different. Now, this speaks to any child around the world. We have given our children access to technology so early. Okay, I'm guilty too, so I'm not bashing anyone for doing that. We've given them access to technology so early on in life that we have a lot more screen time than just being a child and playing. That also means that our children are exposed to a whole lot of things that we didn't get exposed to as children. So now we are not only navigating culture, we are navigating technology. How do we find that balance? You need to know your child. Okay. And everyone says, oh, we know our children. It's my child. I know my child. How do we know someone? We know someone by spending time with the person. Now, what does that mean? So if you are someone in America, you would notice, like, in good parenting examples that you've seen within American culture, parents have family dinners, they have playtime with their children, they go out with their children, they vacation with their children, they're involved in their children's lives. I understand that we sometimes need to have 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet, right? I totally get that. Can we find 10 minutes of our day to eat a meal together and talk about our children's day? How did your day go? What's going on? We also grew up in a culture where a child is just heard. I mean, you are seen, you're not heard, right? And so I remember growing up, we would talk and you would hear comments like, oh, you're a child, what do you know, right? So I was raised in a culture where as a child, you had little or nothing to say. I am raising a child in a culture where if you are timid, you get left behind. You need to be able to speak up. You need to be assertive. A shy child is not applauded in a culture like this, right? So it is important we understand the terrain. So when I'm using the word terrain, I'm talking about the environment, the culture in which we are raising our children. We need to understand that there's certain things that makes your child thrive. And I know you're working hard. I know you're doing what you need to do to help your child be the best and to thrive and to grow. But now we need to be intentional. We need to be able to spend time with our children. We need to be able to talk to them, not as friends. Okay, so I told my I'm not your friend, I'm your parent, right? I'm your parent. So I get to parent you, but I also want to hear you out. I would rather have my child come tell me things than go talk to the other friends about it and me not even know about it. Now, how does that happen? That means that I need to be actively listening. And so down the road, we're going to talk about active listening. What does active listening mean? What are some questions you can ask your child to get more out of them? So you know how most people, like I would ask my children sometimes, how was your day? They're like, fine, right? That is not a question you want to ask. You want to ask an open-ended question. What was good about your day? What were you not happy about your day? What could have gone differently, right? So questions like that gets them to talk a little more. Again, we form relationships by communicating. We need to talk to our children more. So instead of saying, oh, go sit there and do your homework. Oh, adults are talking. Don't budge in. You're being disrespectful. Let's make time for our children and talk and show genuine interest. That we may need to put the phone away for a little bit and talk. One thing I have come to find out is that children talk when they are sleepy. So at night, just before they go to sleep, is usually the best time to reach your child, right? And so in a culture like this, you find out that people, especially in this culture, like in America, parents would do bedtime stories and talk to their children. We sometimes don't have the time to do that. But that is the time when kids are more vulnerable and open to talk about their day. So maybe the last 10 minutes before they go to bed, have a conversation. Just take your time. Sometimes it takes a long time to get things out of them, right? But you want to take your time and just listen to what they have to tell you. So here's my tip for the day. As a parent, have open-ended questions that you want to ask your child. Don't say, how was your day? How was the test? Those will give you the fine, yes, no answers, right? What was good about the test? What are you confident about? What are you hoping to get as a score on that test? What do you have going on? So who do you play with these days? Things like that, open-ended questions. So let's practice some open-ended questions and let's communicate with our children. Let's get to know them. And then as we get to know them, we get to navigate this complex world of a different culture. So hopefully something I've said today stands out to you, it's a tip or something that you can grab and use in your own family. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comments below. I would look at them. I read the comments. And if you have any suggestions, any thoughts about what I've just shared today, please throw it in there and we will address them together. Remember, I am on your on your corner. I am your coach. I am with you. I'm rooting for you, and we will do this parenting together, and we will do it well. And we will look back when our children are older, and we will be proud of the parents we've been. So I am rooting for you. I am here for you. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.